As we continually improve our plants, we're going to end up with different generations of equipment. So in this case, we have a Micrologix 1400, which is in the active mature part of Rockwell's offerings. And we have a CompactLogix PLC, which is one of their modern offerings. Now, I said active mature. I did not say that you'll never run into one of these. The life of a PLC controlled piece of equipment is in the 20 to 30 year range. So we're going to be running in these for quite some time. Now, as we have a good piece of equipment out there and we need to integrate a new piece of equipment with it, we're going to need to communicate between those two. And even Allen Bradley to Allen Bradley, that can be tricky at times. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to configure read and write messaging initiated in the Compact or Controllogix PLC to the Micrologix 1400 PLC. And we're actually going to start in a new copy of RSLogix 500. And I just called this one Studio Write and selected a processor. And we're going to right-click Data Files, New. And we are going to make a long, which is a 32-bit number. And in this case, we are going to make 20 elements. So all we have done is made 20 boxes that something can read and write to. And we're done in here. We're going to go ahead and go to 5,000 now. And I've also created a blank program in here. We got a little bit more work to do in here. So we're going to open up our main program and double click on our main routine. And the first thing we're going to do is set up a sample rate timer. And we have videos showing exactly how to do that. And we're going to bring a TON down off the timer counter. Go to our favorites and go look for a 0 in front of it. And I am going to call this our sample rate. And then we'll go ahead and create that. And I'm going to make it 1000 for a preset or 1 second sample rate. And then here we'll go get our sample rate.dm. And so all this is going to do is make this done true for a single scan every second. And after that, we're going to bring a new rung down, and we're going to go look for a 1 at that same sample rate.dn. And then we're going to go to our input-output category and bring down an MSG message instruction. And I'm going to call this my read from Micrologix. And we'll go ahead and create that. Now let's hit the dialog box to the right of read from Micrologix. And we're going to select our message type as an SLC type read. And then we have a source element and we have a destination element. Now, I can admit this may be the one time that things are much clearer in RSLogix 500 than they are in Studio 5000. Because if we go over here, actually, I've already closed it out, but you don't need to do this. I just want you to see what I'm talking about. Is I'm going to go to input output, drag down a new rung, and drag down a message instruction and hit the dialog box. In this one, we had this controller and target device. It was really clear that this controller was, this controller. The target device was the other device. I'll delete that back out before I forget. And then we go over here, we have a source and we have a destination. Now, the challenge is your source and destination change depending on if it's a read or write message. So since we're doing a read message, our source is in up. I screwed that up right there. Our source is what are we reading? Our destination is where you want to put it in the PLC. Now flip that around and make this a write message. If it's a write message, our source is in our PLC. The destination is where you want to put it. So the first thing we got to know is what type we're actually using there. So since we are doing a read, our source element is somewhere else. And that somewhere else is going to be L9:0. This is going to be the first element we read. So I'm just going to type L9:0. Oops, I'm going to type that again, L9:0. And then the number of elements is going to be 10. and then we need somewhere to put it. So I'm going to put that in data and Micrologix. And then we're going to hit the dialog box to the right of where it says DINT, and we're going to make dim 0, 10. So we have a single dimensional array, 10 elements, and we'll go ahead and click OK. Oops, no, we will not, because now we need to tell it, hey, well, where do you want me to talk to? Or who you want me to talk to? Now, what we want to do here is we want to hit the browse button. It's like, oh, I can't do anything there. I mean, I can grab that. I could grab that, but that's not what I want. I want that PLC up. And honestly, well, let's go ahead and look. I don't think we're going to get a lot of help here. Let's hit the help file. And they talk a little about it, but I don't believe it's really clearly documented in the help anywhere the exact ports to use. Let's just check one other place. We're going to hit help here. Now let's see what they say. That's at least not jumping out at me. So these are port numbers you have to know. But all right, your path is always 2 parts. So the first part of your path is, how do you want to send this message out? So in the case of this particular PLC, we could send it out the USB. We could send it out the backplane. We could send it out Ethernet port A1. We could send it out Ethernet port A2. But in our case, no, folks, I'm not sure I know this, because we just started using this one. I should look this up. And since I can't find it there, we're going to look it up. And in the CompactLogix 5380 and CompactLogix 5380 user manual, down here we have messages, and port 3, port A1 enterprise, it would be 3. Device level port A2 would be 4. And I'm used to, here's what I was getting ready to do, was I was going to enter 2, because this is what I know with all of the regular CompactLogix PLCs. So in the case of our L16, it's really arguably just a built-in Ethernet switch. And so either one of these is 2 going out. Now, this one can be configured, its individual ports can be configured separately or together. So if we go and look in our Studio 5000 program, oh, and it's going to be upset with me. Well, we're just going to don't do this part. I want to explain something to you. I'm just going to grab anything to stick there for now. We go to Edit and Controller Properties. Then right here is the mode. Oh, okay. And all right. So we're in A1, A2 dual IP mode. We hit the change button there. We could change the linear DLR. So if I'm reading the documentation right, if we select linear DLR, which makes A1 and A2 the same port, then we would be running on 2 in this next part. Now, since we're running individual ones, we have, and I'm plugged into port A2. I believe I put over here. We may have a learning opportunity in a second, though. So I'm going to hit cancel on this. We're going to hit cancel on this, and then we're going to go back into here. And so I'm going to put 2. Whoops, I'm so used to entering a 2 there. Well, if you're running an L16 processor on our trainers, you will enter 2. But I believe I enter 4 to go out the A2 port. And then the IP address of my Micrologix PLC, which is 192.168.20.43. And we click OK. Okay, I just realized one very important pitfall to what I'm doing is your program is going to work perfectly fine with this at L9. Mine is not, because I already have something writing to this particular PLC at L9, because I pulled this off of one of the, this Micrologix off one of our communications trainers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click L9 and go to Properties. Oh, I can't do it that easily. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to right-click Data Files, New, and we're going to make L22. And we're going to make it a long data type. And we're going to make it size 20. Now, arguably, you don't need to do this step, but I don't have this available, and I don't want to get in the weeds of why, and at least, but I think we probably will use this in another video. Now we're going to go over here to this one, and we are going to change this also to L22. That's going to get it where that's available. And now let's go ahead and download both of these programs. And if you need any help downloading your programs, or you're like, whoa, I don't even know what you mean by go look for one or anything like that, then look down in the description. We have a course on how to do all of this. And also go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We put at least one how-to video a week out on automation topics. And then, very super important, happy moment is we don't have an error here. If you have an error here, then yeah, you're going to need to go into here and look and see what your error codes are saying down here. Luckily, ours looks happy, and apparently that path before is right for this configuration. And so we're doing a read message. And our source is L220, and we're putting it in data from Micrologix. So we're going to go to our controller tags and open up data from Micrologix. And we're getting a 0 here right now. Let's go over to RSLogix 500. Let's open up L22. And I'm going to put a 1, 2, 3 there. Then we go over here and we get a 1, 2, 3. Now that goes to L9 because we made 10 elements, 0 through 9. So here we can put 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And over here, we get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that gets us to reading data. Now let's talk about the writing data. So we're going to bring a new rung down, and we're going to go to our favorites tab, and we're going to go look for a 1 down. Now, we could fire these both at the same time, but they recommend staggering them. So what we're actually going to do, we grab the read from Micrologix, and then we're going to get the .dm. And then we're going to go to our input-output category and bring down another MSG instruction, and this will be write to Micrologix. And we'll go ahead and create that, and then hit the dialog box to the right of it. And so in this case, we're going to do a PLC type write message. Now, since it is a write message and we're in this PLC, that means our source is in the PLC. Your destination is where you want to put it at. So for our source, we're going to make a new tag, and we're going to call it data to Micrologix. And we will hit the dialog box, and we'll go ahead and make dim 0, 10 again, and we'll hit create. Now, the destination is where we want to put it. Now, we know that we're using L22 0 through 9. Now, I could create a whole different one, but also I can put this at L22 10, and I have a length of 10 available. So we're going to say L22 10, and then we're going to make the number of elements 10. And then we'll go to our communications tab, and we're going to put 4 if you're using the CompactLogix the way I am, or 2 if you're using the L16, 192, 168, and in my case, 20.43. We'll click OK, and then we're going to hit the finalize button. And okay, they appear to both be running, which is exciting. So now we're going to go back here, and we have data, right? Or we have data to Micrologix. Oops, didn't mean to hit that. And so we look over here right now, we're all zeros through this part. So now in Studio here, we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and we go over here and we get the 1, 2, 3, 4. And now at the end of that, we're going to put 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we go over here and we get 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's talk one other step, because I think this is an important step that gets left out, especially in this exact situation. And here's how, let's talk about how this happens. Even I posted that I was going to make some Micrologix videos, and there were some of you that just pummeled me because they're like, well, why are you making Micrologix videos? They're discontinued. Well, because they're still out there. So the new generation, they're like, I don't know how to use that ancient thing. So they set up read and write messages to this PLC. Now, old tried and true machine, which also means the chances are the thing's near bulletproof, and half the people don't know how to work on it anyway, as it finally breaks. And we need to know what the world is writing this value in RS500. So we go to RS500, we see this value here, we right-click it, and we cross-reference it, and we're going to feel nothing's writing to it. Now, I don't get into hard rules, but I think this is one of those clear places that if we always use a read message, there will be one message in one message in the other. The path is really clear when we're troubleshooting, and that's probably worth a video. So we're actually going to make one more video in this series, and we're going to talk about how the troubleshooting would work. We're going to put all these read messages and write messages together. So click here to learn about that.